is the receiving hopper. If you look around, you see we have a lot of bins of grapes. Each bin is about a half a ton of grapes. This is all Zinfandel, mostly Amador County. Probably got about 40 or 50 tons of grapes sitting around up here at least. The forklift will pick up each bin of grapes, drive over here, stop in front of the hopper, tip the bin. The grapes will fall down into this hopper. You can see there's a screw auger. It's actually fairly large diameter. It's almost 14 inches diameter, and that gives us the advantage is it doesn't have to move very fast. So it's nice and slow, it's gentle, just pushing the grapes. The grapes aren't very deep, so there's not a lot of pressure on them. They come this direction, going to my right, and then they drop right down here, and we're just above the crusher stemmer that you saw below. And if you look in, you can see if I get my shadow out of the way, you can see the holes in the crusher stemmer barrel. That's going to be rotating, and the opposite direction of the fingers that are going to remove the stems out of it. We're going to show you a little bit of this in a minute, but it'll be so noisy I won't do any voiceover on it. But again, it's about 30 tons an hour. We can drive it and dump about a bin a minute when the guys are really moving along. You'll see it's going to be fast and furious here, and be a good way. But that's pretty much how the process has to start. Once the grapes are picked, we'll crush them and destem them, and then whether they're reds or whites, we'll either press them immediately if they're whites, or we'll go into a tank and ferment for fermentation if they're reds. Grapes are harvested, they're on what's called the stalk or the rachis, otherwise known as stems. You can see we have a naked stem here. It used to have grapes on it. You can see where the berries were hung on, the raisin on there that didn't quite come off. This is the crusher destemmer. What occurs is when we bring grapes in and dump them into the hopper, they're fed by an auger. The auger drops the grapes into the crusher stemmer. Grapes fall inside, there's a rotating drum, and inside of that is a long shaft, which actually looks like a screw. But instead of being solid, it's got fingers in the shape of a screw. So the grapes fall against the drum, which is full of holes. They fall down to the bottom, and the stems are propelled out the back of the crusher stemmer and into these bins. We'll take them out and compost them later. Once the grapes drop down to the inside, there's a set of rollers here. You can see a little pictogram of what these rollers look like. Don't stick your fingers in them. And the grapes will drop down through the rollers and be crushed, fall into this pump right here. This is a Moino pump. We'll talk about pumps a little later, but suffice it to say that this screw shoves the grapes into the pump mouth, and then the pump is connected to this 4-inch hose, and that 4-inch hose is connected to one of these big tanks over here. This is a Delta D4 crusher stemmer. Excuse me, E4 crusher stemmer, and it can do about 30 tons an hour. That's about as fast as we can deliver grapes to it, about 30 tons an hour. We do about a bin a minute. Each bin's a half a ton, so it's about right for 30 tons an hour.